pouring on the savings with refreshing picks at cool prices. 4-time Retailer of the Year, voted Houston Press Best of for over 10 years. If you're looking to step up your cocktail game, get insider info on seasonal releases, or order online for same-day delivery, just go to specsonline.com because the fun starts here. Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. Cheers to savings.
KSEV is on Facebook. Click the like button and join our group of conservative Texans. Facebook.com/KSEV 700.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540 KGBC Galveston.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. That dangerous heat dome is giving way to powerful storms and flooding concerns. Correspondent Ken Lorman reports.
After days of dangerous record-breaking heat across the East Coast, Southeast, and Southwest, officials are reporting a rising death toll and say many victims were found in homes without air conditioning. The storms left nearly 1 million customers across several states without power and raised the threat of flash flooding as scorching temperatures give way to the threat of powerful storms, widespread outages, and flooding concerns. Ken Lorman reporting.
While ringing the opening bell for the New York Stock Exchange, President Trump was extolling his new Trump accounts, where his administration deposited one-time seed contributions, $1,000 each, into the Trump accounts of over 500,000 American children.
Children that are born without money, without any money. Great parents, they can have everything, can be great, but they have no money. They can become very wealthy children at 18, and they can flip it over, or their people can flip it over into other vehicles at a certain age so that they don't take it out. I would recommend they probably don't take it out, but they can have a lot of money, especially if the market continues.
A 5-day preliminary hearing for the man accused of killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk is underway in Utah. Prosecutors are seeking to convince a state judge that they have enough evidence against 23-year-old Tyler Robinson to proceed to a trial. Robinson is charged with aggravated murder in the assassination of Kirk on the Utah Valley University campus last September. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 155 points. The Nasdaq rose 288. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
When I was feeling the stress of too much credit card debt, I looked at 2 different options, debt settlement and debt management. They may sound the same, but guess what? They're not. Debt settlement seemed like a quick fix, but I found out it would destroy my credit, create tax headaches, and hit me with huge fees. They actually told me to stop paying my bills. No way, not me. Then I turned to a debt management plan developed by the team at Trinity. They worked with my creditors, lowered my payments, reduced my interest, saved me thousands, and paid off my debt. And Trinity is a Christian company, which is important to me.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
This could bode well for prices at the gas pump.
A handful of countries in the OPEC Plus oil-producing cartel are planning to step up their output next month. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies say 7 countries will expand oil production by a combined total of 188,000 barrels per day in August. It was the 5th consecutive month that the group known as OPEC Plus agreed to raise its oil production. Rich Thomason reporting.
Following its debut on Wall Street last month, Elon Musk's rocket company SpaceX is worth a total of $2.1 trillion. That makes it worth roughly the same as Walmart, ExxonMobil, Bank of America, and IBM combined. And it will join high-profile indexes, including the NASDAQ 100 Tuesday. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
Expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low temperature of 79 degrees. Tomorrow will be very warm with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The high will reach 96 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly clear and humid with a low of 78 degrees. Looking ahead to Wednesday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with a high of 94 degrees. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
This program is brought to you in part by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals.
Call 281-441-4179.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty.
Thank goodness our weather experts are providing us with hurricane tracking charts and reminding us to be prepared for big storms. But they overlook one very important thing, the damage and destruction from broken limbs and uprooted trees. Call Louis Flory at Ability Tree Experts today. My friend for nearly 40 years, at 281-441-4179, and let him explain how this problem can be minimized with professional pruning. You see, when the tree canopy is too thick and dense, the tree can be completely blown over and tree limbs broken, causing terrible damage to the tree and maybe your home. Where tree limbs break, sap will ooze, and that attracts harmful insects. So you need to call Louis Flory today at 281-441-4179 and have his experts come out and professionally prune your trees to withstand sudden storms that are so frequent this time of year. Visit their website at abilitytrees.com. That's 281-441-4179. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio. ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire intellect.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Old? Well, I guess we are, aren't we? Wow, that's kind of neat. Good afternoon. Welcome to Chris X Radio. I am the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us as we are rocking, we're 250 years old. What are the odds of that, huh? Didn't see that coming, did you? Well, maybe you did. I don't know. But anyway, glad to have you here with us. Hopefully you had a good, happy, wonderful celebration over the weekend of America's 250th anniversary, which is kind of amazing because we made it to 250. We'll talk a little bit about that, wondering how you guys celebrated over the weekend. Now, remember, don't let your guard down. The commies never stop. They're always on the march, always. That's how the commies roll. So we have to never let our guard down, but we're going to keep going and do everything we can. Once again, I hope your celebration this weekend was awesome. Did you watch fireworks? How did you guys take in the new millennia, if you will? 250 years young, I guess we should say. Oh, man. And by the way, I want to give a shout-out for at least covering half the show on Thursday. I was out. I got a sore throat, and, man, that was not any fun. And that really helped taking last Thursday off to not losing my voice. I never lost it, thank God. But feeling a whole lot better, actually feeling much better. Got some meds over the weekend, so I was taking meds. I tried to stay away from large crowds of people. But I did take in some of the fireworks and got to watch some of the stuff on TV. I watched about 15 minutes Freedom Over Texas or Freedom Over Houston or whatever it's called. I guess I saw it before Collective Soul came on. Did they show them on TV? I don't know if they did. But I watched a little bit of that, and then I just said, all right, that's it. I'm going to go watch other fireworks. When did that, and then celebrated and enjoyed good food, went and ate and had fun and enjoyed everything that is the greatest nation that has ever existed. So, of course, I'm glad that you're here with us as we get to roll. Man, talk about a blessed life. Watching these dirtbags try to change our country, but we're fighting them back. We're going to keep fighting them back. The fact that we got Donald Trump on America's 250 is a blessing that I don't think can truly be measured. Because I could not imagine if we had some dirtbag like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Barack Obama that literally hates everything about this country, except for what they can rape and pilfer from it. They'll do that. But I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful I'm one of the few people, well, I say few people, there's probably a fair amount of us, that lived through the bicentennial. And then here we are on the semi-quincentennial anniversary of America. The signing of the Declaration of Independence. Man, that's pretty cool to witness both. I got to witness the 200-year anniversary and then the 250. Will I make it to 300? I would not bet. I would bet against that. That's just me. But anyway, well, we're back here on our Monday edition of the program. Glad to have you. I feel like a Craig Collins sandwich because he's filling in with Dana again, and then his show comes on at 6, so I'm the filler in between, I guess. But nonetheless, we're glad to be here. We've bring you that gift beyond price that is almost free, ladies and gentlemen. We bring you the Spirit of Talk Radio. In honor of that, we'll talk about, the spirit of 1776. How did you celebrate America's 250 this weekend? 281-558-KSEV. If you want to join us, 281-558-5738. I saw Trump over the weekend. We floated nominating Ted Cruz for the Supreme Court. Said he'll get 100 yes votes because they all want him out of the Senate. The Democrats hate him. The Republicans would all agree he's a great pick. So to get 100 votes, 100%. The Democrats would find themselves in a quandary. Do we want to keep him or put him at a lifelong position? I think we kind of know how that goes. All right, so there's a lot going on. We'll talk about how President Trump gave just a defiant spirit of 1776 speech, celebrating America's 250th. If you're watching on the streams, we stream live on Facebook and Twitter and X, YouTube and the Rumble. I saw we were getting a little traction on Rumble before. I'm still celebrating. I'm still wearing my USA shirt. I got flags and everything. Look at that for those who are watching. And then the flag shirt. So I'm still dressed up for the America 250. I'm just going to keep celebrating it all year. Until we get to America 251, I'm celebrating 250. Why not? Because I'm America AF. I'm red, white, and blue. That's right. Red hair, white skin, blue eyes. Listen, I'm not a white supremacist. That is all goes to Graham Plattner, the Democrat. Maybe. The Nazi tattoo guy, he may be about to drop out. Oh, yeah. We'll get to that. James Talafrico's on the defense after remarks resurfaced in which he was lavishing praise on Texas drag queens as some of the best in the country. Why is it I am not surprised that James Talafrico is a big fan of drag queens? I mean, after what we've heard from the guy here, literally over the last few years, what he said and what he's done and the things they say, I mean, he's all for the trans children. I mean, he's a big fan of those trans kids. He loves trans children. I mean, you may like them, but...
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
Then he loves the trans kids, and well, he said...
Did they teach you in Sunday school?
that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist.
Was he?
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. God is non-binary.
Wonder
You
how
may
he
call yourself
celebrated.
a Christian and reject the stranger seeking asylum at our southern border. Our trans community needs abortion care too.
Yeah, they totally.
Modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness.
Oh, that whiteness.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. We are trying to fundamentally change the politics in this state and in this country. Yep. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity.
Don't be crying over your whiteness or your masculinity. We should follow Ben Flores.
Next time they say that James is trans, we're all trans. When they say James is a gay tofu-eating vegan, we're all gay tofu-eating vegans.
I guess.
And when they say James is going to hell, we'll say we're all going to hell. But joke's on them.
Yeah, the joke is on them. So why doesn't it surprise me that James Tallarico has now come out that he was lavishing praise on drag queens? And he was criticizing the bill in which the state legislature was banning sexually oriented performances on public property in the presence of minors. Of course, James Tallarico would want sexually oriented performances by drag queens on public property. And of course, once again, Ben Fleury says they're all gay, trans, whatever, except for apparently their candidate for Maine Senate to run against Susan Collins, who I think is about to drop out. Explosive sexual assault allegations are now rocking Plattner's campaign ahead of this deadline in the crucial Maine Senate race. Rumors are now swirling about Graham Nazi Tattoo Plattner after several of his events were canceled, and a report from Politico has accused the scandal-plagued Democrat nominee of sexual assault ahead of this key deadline in the race. Maine resident Jenny Racicot, I believe is how you pronounce her name, R-A-C-I-C-O-T. She's 41. She told the Politico that over the course of 3 interviews that Plattner forced her to have sex 5 years ago, a claim that Plattner has denied in the story. But Democrats have to believe all women, right? Didn't they tell us that? You have to believe all women. You have to believe all women. We have to believe all women. I mean, we have to. We had to believe the crazy lady who couldn't remember when, where, how, what time, what year that Donald Trump supposedly raped her in a public facility somewhere, at a store, department store, and all of this. You had to believe her. We had to believe the gang rape assault allegations of Brett Kavanaugh that was completely made up by another crazy woman. No, once again, we have to believe all women. Well, only when Republicans are being accused, because Democrats would never lie and make up things, nor would this woman. Why is she waiting till now to come out? Additionally, the report says that Rescott dated afterward. Wait, hold on. That a man dated. Okay, I'm sorry. This makes the report says that a man Rescott dated after it was confirmed she told him about the incident, and it was also corroborated by emails between Rescott and her therapist. I remember him grabbing me by my pelvis and being really forceful of me. She said she was almost blackout drunk. Oh wow, shocker! The guy with the Nazi tattoo would be with a chick who's almost blackout drunk and would abuse her. He has a history of abusing women, and Paulie Market thinks he's about to drop out of the race. We can get into that today. Utah prosecutors were in court today seeking to convince a state judge that they have enough evidence to bring to trial the man accused in Charlie Kirk's assassination and seek the death penalty. Now, Charlie Kirk's parents were there, along with widow Erica Kirk. They were in the courtroom for the first time, along with Donald Trump Jr. And once again, I don't know what does she call her? Gal Sharpton has to say. Is she still blaming Erica Kirk for Charlie Kirk's death? Does she still think that Erica Kirk murdered him? And this is somehow a big setup, and they're framing this dude who bragged about it to his, was it a trans? He was dating a trans person who was a furry. These people are insane. Believe all trans furries and women, except when they accuse the Nazi-tattooed Democrat nominee running for Senate in Maine. What? I know, it makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. But President Trump celebrated the launch of the new investment accounts for children at the White House today. He also rang the bell for Wall Street. I prefer Y'all Street here in Texas. But he's encouraging children to sign up for the accounts if they haven't done so already. Apparently, a lot of them already have. So we can get into that as well, and we'll be taking your phone calls. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. Looks like we got Andy out in Kingwood. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. You're listening to Chris X Radio. We're just getting started. We'll take a very short break, and then we'll come back and get more of your calls, or get your calls here on the other side. Don't you go anywhere. Chris X Radio is just getting started.
Says they're better, but the ones that earn the prestigious BBB seal back it up. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And it instantly identifies reputable businesses you can trust. So look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org. That's bbb.org.
Hey, let me ask you a quick question. How many times have you switched your health insurance in the last few years? How many times have you wanted to switch your health insurance the last few years? If you're in good health and pay your own insurance, you don't have to settle for scary high deductibles or unaffordable premiums. Let American Medical Plans find the right plan for you at a price you can afford. Call 833-500-PLAN. No, this is not some ridiculous Obamacare plan with no doctors and a limited HMO. And it's not some rinky-dink insurance company that doesn't cover a single claim. No, this is real coverage for you and your family. Go to the doctors and hospitals you choose. Stop shopping around hunting for the best deal. American Medical Plans will do the hunting for you. Get you a better plan at a better price. You owe it to yourself to see what they can do for you. Get it done before the rates go up. Call American Medical Plans, 833-500-PLAN. That's 833-500-7526. Or go to AmericanMedicalPlans.com. American Medical Plans. Quality plans managed by you, not the government.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Your smartphone is now your radio. All you need is a KSEV app. And with one click, you're listening to KSEV. Go to the Android Marketplace or the iPhone App Store. Search KSEV. Select the KSEV app. It's free and it only takes a couple of minutes. Listen to KSEV. Send us an email or text message. Connect to our Facebook page. It's easy with the KSEV app. More details at ksevradio.com.
Hi, y'all. It's Kathy from Baker Mortgage. You know, with all the scary stuff we've been through, it's still true that timing is everything, and the time to buy is now. But don't go looking without a solid pre-approval in hand. And this includes an application and a detailed discussion about property taxes. If you didn't have the talk, about property taxes, you really don't know what you're pre-approved for. That should make you wonder what else they may have left out. Mortgages are personal. Let's face it, we're dealing with your home and your money, and it doesn't get much more personal than that. When it's the largest transaction that most people will ever be involved in, imagine having someone on your side looking out after you. What a concept. We audit your closing statement to make sure you're not paying for things that you're not supposed to. Do you think your big bank's going to do that? Probably not. For all of your mortgage needs, call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
And now, back to Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio.
You know, I keep seeing parts of town are getting rain, but we're not getting any in my area. So there's that. Hey, by the way, I got an email, well, a few emails over the weekend. You guys are very nice, sending me cool patriotic music and lots of good stuff. Somebody asked if I was up in the Hill Country. I did not go to the Hill Country this weekend. No, I celebrated America's 250 right here in Houston, where I was born and raised. So there you go. I may go to the Hill Country next weekend. If I can, it's been so dry up there now the last few weeks, and then now that I'm looking to go back up, it rained up there today, of course. Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, welcome back to Chris X Radio. It is Manic Monday here, and we're back. America is officially 250 years young. Saturday, we turned 250 years old, 250 years young. I hope you guys had a wonderful 250 celebration. How did you guys celebrate? Did you guys do anything cool this weekend? I think the average was watching fireworks, or maybe the Freedom over Texas, or is it Freedom over Houston? I can't ever remember, but it was it Keith? Is it Keith Urban? Is that the guy? I'm not into his music. So I was watching somebody. He sounds good. It sounded like he's talented. I watched a little bit, but then Collective Soul came up later, and I forgot they were going, so I missed them. Is that posted anywhere? Can I go watch Collective Soul? I've seen them 2 or 3 times live. They're good. That's my generation, if you will. Talking about my generation. Now, here's my question. Will we get banned on Meta for me just singing that little part of talking about my generation? Then again, my generation is actually the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I think the greatest times for rock and roll. And then since then, it's died. All right, welcome back to Chris X Radio. If you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go and jump to the phones. Look like we've got Andy holding in Kingwood. Andy, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to Chris X Radio.
Okay, Chris, this is formerly Andy from Conroe, because we've now moved to Kingwood, so now it's going to be Andy from Kingwood.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to get used to that, Andy. Thanks for clearing that up for me.
Okay, now, my wife and I, we went up to East Texas again, the same place we had earlier, and we got to celebrate the 4th of July there on Lake Jacksonville. And I'm a flag person, and I got a Betsy Ross flag that I flew out at the lake, and that was my celebration for the 4th of July, to have the Betsy Ross flag, which is the 13 stars and the 13 stripes with the stars in a circle.
Oh, yeah, I've got one of those Betsy Ross flags as well. I just want to say, hold on, though. Before you and them celebrated and flew that Betsy Ross flag, did you reckon with your whiteness and your heterosexuality, or did you not even think about it?
I didn't even think about it.
All right, so much for the James Tallarico method. So I'm assuming you won't be voting for him come November.
Yeah, no, I'm voting for it. Hey, now, the other thing I want to ask you, I've been watching these videos on YouTube about the Save America Act, and a lot of stuff's going down with Thune. What have you heard from that situation?
Well, I don't know yet. There's so much. There's a lot spinning around. I know there's a lot of people trying to get it passed, like Anna Paulina Luna in the House, and then you've got Scott Pressler, who tried to go. Was it over the weekend or last week? Was trying to meet at a dinner with John Thune, and they kept him. Okay, it was last week, and he tried to go in and just ask him politely, because he's a very polite guy, and they didn't even allow him in, so he didn't even get to meet with John Thune. They kept him out. But there's a lot of people trying to get it now. It's already been passed through the House multiple times. We're just waiting on the Senate, and I guess if they can round up those 4 votes, which Mike Lee came back and proposed legislation to get it done, they got the 4 votes on. But still, we haven't heard exactly what they'll do to enable to get it past the filibuster, because you need 60 votes or whatever. So I don't know. There is a lot of rumors going around, a lot of stuff saying it. Trump wants it done and wants it passed. So I'm thinking it's bound to come up to a vote here before the midterms at some point. If it doesn't, then that just that just shows how inept of a leader, I guess, that John Thune is, if you can't get all Republicans on board with something that over 80% of the American people want.
Right. Well, the other thing, McConnell, I understand he's been in the hospital the last 3 weeks, too. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, the Mitch McConnell, apparently he had a cardiac incident or arrest at his home. They had to resuscitate him. He's been in the hospital for the last 3 weeks. His wife, Elaine Chao, she's in China, meeting with people in China. I don't want to be aloof about this because it's sad, even though whether I disagree politically or not, generally when you're 80 plus years old and you have a cardiac event and you go into the hospital, that my dad just went in for a procedure and he didn't make it out. It's unlikely that he will ever come out of this hospital. In fact, we don't know to what degree. From what I've heard, he's been unconscious. So there's no coherency there, and we don't know if he'll ever come back. And I guess we'll maybe get an update. But man, it's been media blackout. I'm finding out stuff on Twitter X and other stuff about Mitch McConnell, and yeah, he's been in the hospital for 3 weeks, and no one's talked about it. No one said anything about his replacement or whatever. Which would, of course, if he passes away, that triggers a special election. So we'll see what happens. But it's sad news, but it's also bizarre news.
Yeah, I lost my dad the same way, so I can feel for you there. Okay.
No, well, thanks. Like I said, it's sad when your parents go into the hospital to go take it was in my mom's case, she went in for tests. Now she had severe blockage and she passed. And then my dad's case, they actually did a procedure on his heart, which he had to have, and then that went through and he came through just fine. And then they screwed it up every step of the way after. So that really kind of sucks. So when I hear about Mitch McConnell having a cardiac arrest at home, and then they brought him back and then took him to the hospital for 3 weeks, and no one's been allowed to go see him or hear from him, and then his wife ran off to China. I don't know what that means. I know her parents are really ingrained in the CCP over there, so they've gotten a lot of money from that. But that is a very, very strange situation over there.
Yeah. Well, happy 4th of July, Chris. It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you again.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Andy. Always good to hear from you. Andy in Kingwood now, and I hope you and your wife, I remember you were telling me about her, I hope she's still doing better and doing great. I hope you guys obviously had a good celebration, and I did as well. Thank you for that. Happy 4th of July to everybody else out there. Like I said, we signed off last Wednesday because I had a sore throat, and then now I'm back and full of vim and vigor. Well, I don't know about that. My voice is, like I said, it sounds hopefully okay. May have a little bit there, but my throat doesn't hurt. Last week when I did the show on Wednesday, it was hurting and didn't feel good. I'm sorry, on Wednesday, yeah, it didn't feel good. And then on Thursday, it was killing me. My neck hurt, and I'm like, this is bad. And so I had to go get my meds on Thursday. So I got the meds, and what's funny was immediately, very seldom do I get medicine that you take and immediately start feeling better. Now, I'd started taking stuff for the sore throat to make it stop hurting, but then I got some, the antibiotics to fight off whatever I was getting, and immediately it started helping. I mean, immediately. So I don't know if they gave me the super antibiotics or what, but I'm like, oh, man, I'm going to feel better. But did you guys notice that what I did this time? You guys remember last year when I didn't go to the doctor, and I was like, oh, it's just allergies, and I'm good. No, I got the doctor prescription right away. I figured until I get a whole lot further away from that incident last year where I found myself not being able to breathe in the middle of the night, I'm like, okay, time to make sure you do this right. So I did it right. And then once again, this is the first time I've been sick since then. So it was that. And I'm feeling a whole lot better. Once again, my voice but I never lost my voice. It sounded a little weak. I know if I would have done the show, or at least tried to do the show, I would not have made it through the program on Thursday. So, but once again, we're glad to have everybody here to celebrate the 4th of July. All right, let's take a very short break, and then we'll come back. Looks like we got El Marco listening out in Fulshire. All right, El Marco, hold on. We'll pick up with El Marco in Fulshire here when we come back on the other side. We'll get more of your calls if you want to join us as well. 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-5738. Trying to figure out how we can work the 250th. And we're now 250 years young in America. That's right, USA, USA, USA. Anybody who has a problem with the American flag, you guys remember when they had a problem with the Confederate flag, and then the Dukes of Hazzard had to be taken off the air and reruns, and then now they're coming after the American flag because they can't reckon with their whiteness or the communists are always on the march. 281-558-KSEV. I'm Chris X. We'll be right back. Product Services is here to help you get ready for the summer. If you have a gas grill or an outdoor kitchen that needs servicing or an upgrade, call Russell Metzler today. With over 20 years in the gas products business, Russell is your go-to guy for all of your home's natural gas items and ideas. From outdoor kitchens, grills, fire features, or gas lights, Russell can add inspiring ambiance and culinary features for all of your backyard gatherings. Call Russell today at 281-798-8006 or gasproductservices.com.
Does your company have a cybersecurity rider? Are you compliant with its terms? If you are not sure, call Tactical Cyber Services for a free consultation. 713-229-0030 or go online at tacticalcyberservices.com.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate in O'Hara Homes. Davy Crockett addressed the Tennessee Congress after losing his bid for a seat. You may all go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Apparently a lot of other people from other states are feeling the same way lately. We have people coming to Texas from every state in the union. I think they are looking for a state with more conservative views. The word Texas comes from the Caddo Native American language, which means friends or allies. Texans are some of the friendliest people on the planet. If you're moving from another state, Texans will treat you well. If you're fleeing from a liberal state, leave those views there. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393. Again, that's 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. If you need any type of construction work done, call O'Hara Homes at the same number, 281-373-3393. Davy Crockett ended up being an historical figure in Texas history and embodied the Texas spirit. God bless America and God bless Texas.
Tune in to the Ray Massey Reverse Mortgage Show each Friday at 1 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. with Treybo Mortgage. Or call Ray directly at 855-266-1600 or online at reversemortgages4Texans.com.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low temperature of 79 degrees. Tomorrow will be very warm with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The high will reach 96 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly clear and humid with a low of 78 degrees. Looking ahead to Wednesday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with a high of 94 degrees. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
Fake news hates us. Fake news hates us. Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio.
Okay, so this is how I'm going to be celebrating 250th anniversary of America ever long. Celebrate it forever and ever and ever as long as we're still a country. So, what was this I heard about Mom Donnie giving a speech behind Washington's desk about boy, the America that they want is a very different America than what we want, right? Has anybody figured that out? Why are people like them getting elected in these other states? Thank God I was born in Texas, raised in the greatest country that has ever existed, the Republic of Texas, blanketed by the United States of America. And we're 250 years young as of Saturday. So, but you can't let your guard down. The commie Mom Donnies never sleep. They're always pressing forward. So we have to fight them back. That's why we're back. That's what we're doing. We'll go to the phones here in just a second, Mel Marco. Hold on. We'll get to him in just a second. If you want to join us here on our first official show that we're doing in the 250th year of America. Very first one ever. I mean, we've been doing shows for years, but this is the first one that we're doing actually in America as a country that has officially celebrated its 250 years in existence. If you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Did you guys see Trump floating Ted Cruz for the Supreme Court? And it was so funny. He's like, he's going to get 100%, 100 yes votes because they all want him out of the Senate. Trump is so funny. I love when Trump does stuff like that. Ted Cruz is there. He's cracking up. I would love that nomination. Ted Cruz would be great for the Supreme Court. Oh, no, we need more Ketanji Brown Jacksons. That's what we need. Or Amy Kobe Bryant. Oh, my God, these people. How they came to the conclusion they did last week, I have no idea. Anyway, 281-558-KSEV. Let's go to El Marco, who's listening in Fulshire. El Marco, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Hey, Chris. You know, you had to put the pressure on there, making a big deal about the fact that this is the first show, and now I'm going to get all flustered here. No,
you're on the mark. That's it. You're on it. You're under the microscope.
All right. Well, three things. I'll try and hit them real fast. Two of them you brought up after I called up and the guy put me on hold. But one is, get rid of, I'm sorry, Coney Barrett. She's blown it on a couple lately. And, with Cruz, I think it would be good. But we need two strong senators to stay in Texas here, too. So, 6-1, half a dozen to the other. But that is the one thing situation, SAVAC, we have Collins did turn a couple of weeks ago towards it, so we actually do have 50 at least, and then with the tiebreaker there, Vance. But now the latest scoop is based on the subterfuge going on with McConnell and all this other stuff, and the fact that they were doing that they it's not the nicest thing to say, but it's like, well, okay. Please do the right thing in saying, well, if this is a situation, how quick are they going to go ahead and let's get somebody else in there to cover the rest of his term, which they'll know then that's the extra one. Then if they don't want 50-51, then even one more, and then just do it like make those idiots make fools of themselves talking until they finally get tired after a week or two, because they're not doing anything anyway, and Trump's not going to sign any other legislature, he said, until American Save Act. So why waste your time? Just let them go ahead and talk for the next couple of weeks and show what fools that they are again. Whether or not CNN will run a lot of that because, they'll know it'll look bad on them. And then eventually let them just give out and then it'll pass then.
Well, hold on, Marco. Correct me if my math is wrong, but Mitch McConnell would be one of those 50 votes. So with him in the hospital and incapacitated, that makes it only 49 votes. And also, hold on, before we get to that, getting Susan Collins on board was a different piece of legislation, was back to the original SAVE Act, which is what Trump wants, presented by Mike Lee. And he got her on board, and that's how they got to 50. I don't know if that's what we're looking at right now, but it looks like, but wouldn't that only be 49 with McConnell out of commission?
Well, no, I think McConnell was still against it. There was McConnell, Murkowski, Tillis, and what was the other number?
If they're four against it, then we don't have. Hold on. If they're four against it, then we don't have 50 anywhere close to 50.
Well, no, then it must have been Tillis then, I guess, but it was McConnell, Tillis. Well, I mean, that's when he was just saying in general he didn't have the numbers. That was even with Collins too, before Collins switched and said that she would vote for it then. But I think McConnell was still a no, Tillis was a no, and I guess then it would have been Murkowski was the other no.
Probably Murkowski, yeah.
But so we'll see, and it's not a good situation because you don't wish him bad anyway. But it's like he was, and the fact that they were hiding him. I mean, that makes us in some aspects no different than the Democrats with some of their sick people. And of course, you heard Pelosi's husband may have been a hit and run guy now too in that accident that's circulating recently too. So
With the so many these septuagenarians and then these octogenarians in the Senate, we're going to be seeing this sort of stuff on a regular basis until we get some sort of sense in there, which I don't know when or if that'll ever happen with the way things currently are. But I think your point is, I think you're right. Sure. I think it was Mitch McConnell's McConnell. And,
McConnell.
So we shall see what ends up happening.
It's the correct one. Yeah. Last one is, with regard to your voice, I'm glad you're back on the road to recovery too. Talking about as it relates to other things as you get older too, although you're not nearly that age. But I got bummed out because I went to Fort Worth. I was going to go there with my son, who's a principal dancer at Texas Ballet, but we were going to go see Rush, and it got canceled because Getty's voice. But you figure after about 50 years of that screeching, caterwauling, a lot of the time, near the end, he did cut back on a lot of it. It was more melodic. But even then, after 50 years, that this could be happening like every other show now. He's going to have to cancel because he's not going to have a voice.
Yeah,
so now it got rescheduled. So.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm sorry, that sucks for anybody who had tickets. He got bronchitis and then, of course, got sick. And when you're 70-something years old, when you get sick, you can't bounce back. And I remember there were times when, like I said, in the 90s when I was performing, where literally by the end of the night, my voice was gone. The next morning, I had no voice. But by that evening, like I've heard Sammy Hagar talking about this, and I got something on him in a minute. But literally, you could come back and sing that night. When you're 70-something, you almost can't do that anymore. And you're absolutely right. That is a fear. And once again, poor Getty they said he had bronchitis. I saw Alex talking about it. But you're right. They're going to have to. They got to be very careful when you got some of these older people. Like even with the Rolling Stones, man, these people are not young people, and for them to be able to do that, and when you're the singer, it is a huge impact because if you lose your voice, and they said Getty's was gone, and then I guess they rescheduled for, was it a week later or a couple of weeks later or something? So, but that just totally screwed up everybody's travel plans.
Yep, and that's the thing, and even the things that's leaking out, because some bootleg stuff of the performances they've been doing in California, and now the first couple shows in Fort Worth. He's not able to sing some of the songs that they're playing that in the past he took it up high and strong, that he's just sort of sliding through it and dropping it down an octave or something like that, or almost talking through it because he knows he can't hit those notes anymore, and if he tries, he's only going to hurt his voice. But
that's
I still want to see it because, like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind anyway, and with my sons and that with regard to Annika and all this other, behind it. So, but anyway, I'll let it go and let some other guys jump on. But thanks as always, Chris. You keep it right.
Well, I appreciate that, Marco. I appreciate it. Always good to hear from you, and I appreciate your comments. That's cool. You're still going to see Rush. And I imagine you've probably heard my take on Annika. Obviously, she's not Neil Peart, and she's not even trying to be Neil Peart. She's just trying to do justice to the music, and she's doing justice to it. Is she the best choice? Obviously, the best choice for Alex and Getty. But like I said, I don't think there's clearly just a couple of people, Danny Carey from Tool, but especially Mike Portnoy, the guy from Dream Theater. That guy would have been able to do everything they're doing. But once again, these guys already have bands. They're already established, and they're already doing things. So she was a great choice because she was with Jeff Beck, who passed away. There's another thing, too, talking about voices. I've learned this about from interviews and stuff with Sammy Hagar and some of the others, and I'm pretty sure I haven't gone and actually played my guitars to it to check to see how it is with Rush. But most of these bands, like Sammy Hagar, they tune down a full step, and so he can drop that register. Sammy can still hit when he's feeling good, when he's not under the weather or whatever. He can still hit the notes, but it's a lot harder when you get older. And for the voice to maintain is almost impossible, especially what he was kicking out in the early 70s. We're talking 50 years ago. So I've noticed that. I'm pretty sure they're tuning down. But that being said, when you get sick, it really affects it. So that's really tough. So seeing that, with Getty getting sick, and I think that it's possible that may happen, more. I know, like I said, I've got friends that are traveling all over the country to go watch Rush, and I'm like, I've seen Rush 5 times. I saw him with Neil Peart, the professor, if you will, and there's no and Getty's voice in the late 80s wasn't the same as it was in the the 70s. So now that being said, he could still hit the stuff. His bass playing is just as good, if not better, than he was, which is hard to believe because it was unbelievable how good he is. and how talented they are. I'm glad they're still doing what they're doing. Sammy Hagar, once again, he tunes down a full step. And he does it. He also talked about doing some sort of treatment, I think stem cell treatment or something, some sort of treatment for his voice. And he said that really helps, but also getting in better shape, and he's definitely in better shape than he was. Sammy's still touring. The other thing, too, and he started getting a bunch of grief from a bunch of lefties because he was going to perform at the America 250. And they're like, how can you perform for this Donald Trump monster? Rah! And they lost their mind over it. And all of his musician buddies came out. And, of course, Sammy said, this isn't political. This is the 250th anniversary of our country. And Sammy loves America. He has become either a billionaire or damn near a billionaire by the opportunities presented to him for being in this country. He's a very smart man. He's a very smart businessman. And also he's got the Van Hagar, the Best of All Worlds tour, where they're doing the Van Hagar stuff, the Van Halen with him. And then they're doing the Montrose and the old Sammy stuff. And maybe they're incorporating some of Joe Satriani's stuff. But he's doing all that, which is great. And then they tried to give me, he had a great speech about unification. Music brings people together. That's what it's supposed to do. But the lefties can't let that happen because they're dirtbags. They're trying to use their communistic, their fascistic techniques to silence anyone from the other side. And no, you can't be involved with them. You can't even perform in America's 250th birthday because Trump's president. What? Would they be saying that if Kamala Harris was president? No, they wouldn't. In fact, we've seen what happens. They get praise when you perform for the other side. But anyway, back to your original point. Yeah, I was very sad to hear that Alex and and Annika had to, it was funny. Alex was just bored out of his head sitting around in a hotel room, and they couldn't do anything because Getty. He said, "There's the good side. The good side is because the guy's been talking for 50 years, and now I don't have to listen to him because he can't talk." He was joking, and he said, "But he can't perform, and that's a problem." So there you go. That is a big issue, and you have to be very careful. All right, let's take another short break, and then we'll come back and wrap up this first hour. Looks like we got Sean out in Conroe, or Lake Conroe. All right, hold on for me. We'll try to get you on the other side when we come back here and wrap up this first hour. You're listening to ChrisX Radio. Appreciate the call from El Marco. Always good to hear from you. And hopefully you'll be able to catch Rush. I don't know if you're still going to try. But, yeah, watching them, like I said, they still sound good. I guess when Getty is feeling well. But, yeah, his voice is not the same. It's not been the same for some time. That being said, he can still sing, at least when he's healthy. All right, 281-558 KSEV. You're listening to ChrisX Radio. We'll come back, wrap up this first hour, and get you locked and loaded for hour number 2. We'll be right back.
Shops back. 50 years in the Lone Star State, a one-stop shop so you're never late. Price is so low that you want to know which way to Specs. Come on, let's go. Specs Wine Spirits and Fine Foods. World-class service, that's all about you. Shout Specs, it's how we do. A huge selection since 62. Shout Specs, low priced, amazing. Here's to you. Shout. Cheers to savings.
KSEV and its advertisers want to thank you, the listeners, for all your continued support. Without you supporting our advertisers, there would not be a Voice of Texas. We stand behind our clients, and if you're looking to boost and grow your business, join the great team at KSEV and its loyal audience by calling a member of our sales staff at 281-588-4800. That's 281-588-4800. KSEV, loyal listeners and dependable advertisers are the Voice of Texas.
Hi, this is Louis Flory. You've been relying on Ability Tree Experts for decades to protect and maintain the valuable trees on your property. You can continue to rely on the same professional services. So call Ability Tree Experts at 281-441-4179 today.
They call him the machine gun preacher, Pastor Sam Childers, an American legend who refused to stand by while children suffered. For over 25 years, he's risked everything to rescue children, build orphanages, and bring hope where there was none. But the mission is far from over. Join the movement. Stand for freedom. Protect the innocent. We never stop. Will you? Visit mgpneverstop.com today and be part of the story.
Growing up, I remember watching my dad drop everything to help somebody in need. Early or late, if somebody needed help, he showed up. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, CEO of Garage Door Doctor. That lesson stuck with me. That's why our regular business hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. No extra charge for early mornings or late evenings. Because getting help on your schedule shouldn't cost more.
The Three Amigos.
You all are appointment listening. I listen to you every Friday afternoon. Everything stops for you all.
The Three Amigos. Make an appointment every Friday afternoon at 4 on The Voice of Texas.
Houston Methodist Hospital has been named the best hospital in Texas for patient care and quality for the 14th year in a row by U.S. News and World Report. We are proud to be a top-ranked hospital in the country and nationally ranked in 10 specialties. For more than 100 years, we have been honored to provide you with the highest quality care possible. That's the difference between practicing medicine and leading it for you. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
You know, I was reading an article this weekend that it was somebody, I don't even remember who it was claiming that King's X is the one who ushered in grunge music into the 90s. I kind of disagree with that. There's an element of it there. I could see the progression was definitely taking place. But if King's X ushered in grunge, well, then why did they get left behind with the 80s? And because they were a talented band. I think they may still be around. Anyway, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. You've reached the final segment of the first hour. We'll get you locked and loaded for hour number 2. That's right. We go from 4 to 6 each Monday through Thursday, and then we turn things over at 6 p.m. to the Craig Collins program. You know, it's interesting. I guess if he really wanted to, he could just play that third hour of Dana and then get out of doing a show. I'm not trying to give him any ideas or anything, but, I mean, he could if he wanted to. I don't even know. Imagine he likes doing his own program, which is up at 6. All right, we're going to wrap up this first hour, 281-558-KSEV, and then we'll get ready for hour number 2, which will take plenty of your phone calls at 281-558-5738. All right, let's go back to the phones, pick up with Sean, listening in Lake Conroe. Sean, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Hey, Chris, thanks. Yeah, I love your show.
Well, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Yeah, did I hear right that Paul Pelosi was caught with a strange male in his car? And he did a hit and run?
No, there was no strange man. That was in his house when apparently there was. Yeah, that happened a little while back. There was a strange man in his underwear that hit him in the head with a rock or a brick or something.
Yeah, with a hammer.
It was very terrible.
Hammer time, yeah.
It was a hammer. You're
terrible.
right. He went hammer time on him. And the guy was a male prostitute. But whatever. Like I said, that was then.
Yeah,
From
that's
what I hear.
I swore I heard he had a passenger with him when he did the hit and run. I was like, that's not going to be good for him.
Yeah, well, I heard there were no passengers in the car this time. So,
yeah.
But then again, he left the scene. He just hit the cars and drove off. So he could have easily dropped off his passenger somewhere before the police caught up with him.
Who knows? There's something going on there. They just stopped talking about it, though.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this, Sean. This just goes to show that there are different sets of rules for American people, and it doesn't span, racial or like I said, or biblical or anything. It's simply if you're the rich people, you get to play by a different set of rules than regular people here in America. Because if you or I were to do a hit and run and go somewhere, the cops are not going to talk to us and then let us just go home and then we'll deal with it. Oh, no. You and I are going to get to spend the night in the pokey. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, so thanks for the call, Sean. I appreciate it. But once again, I cannot. I've heard no reports that there was a man in the vehicle with him. Maybe he was going to see a man. That was so weird that a guy in his underwear, was somehow able to get into Paul Pelosi's home, wherever they are, in a rich gated area in San Francisco, I guess. I don't know where they live, in California somewhere. and to have a hammer, and then the guy answered the door, Paul Pelosi, maybe he was in his underwear, whatever. They answered the door, and the guy was standing there with a hammer while they were talking to cops, and then as the cops rushed in, the guy hit Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer. And now Paul Pelosi apparently recovered, but he's I think he's 86, they said. So then again, she's 186. So, well, parts of her are that old. The other parts, I'm thinking, are probably more whatever year the plastic was developed. But that being said, it just, once again, a perfect example of how the rich people in this country get to behave, especially when they run around talking about, oh, we're here for the poor people. They're here for the regular people just like you and me. But it's kind of, remember Nancy getting her hair did during COVID? They locked down the state and the country, so you can't get your hair did. But she made the salon open up and take her in and got her hair did, and then somehow tried to justify it. Oh man, it's nice when you're better than all of the other market gamblers, and you do better than the best market strategist in the world. Oh, it's good. All right, hour number 2 is up next. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball and AM 1540 KGBC Galveston.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has inaugurated his Trump accounts for children under the age of 18 that will give them a financial head start with government seed money and contributions from family, employers, or charities.
The new program to start saving for your kids went live on July 4th. The Treasury Department says so far, more than 6 million Trump accounts have been opened for children under the age of 18. The president sounding pleased.
So many of these children are going to be involved with the Trump account. They're going to watch their account grow. They're going to watch the country grow. They're going to be reading the newspapers. They'll want to go to the financial pages.
Laura Winters reporting.
In Utah today, prosecutors began laying out their evidence against Tyler Robinson, the man accused of assassinating conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Judge Tony Graff gave remarks before the proceedings acknowledging emotions are running high.
The court recognizes that this hearing may invoke emotion from everyone, and the court understands the human nature of that, but also it's important that this courtroom is orderly. Spectators shall not wear or display any pins, buttons, signs, clothing, or photographs expressing support for or against any person related to this case or the status of this case as a capital offense.
Kirk's widow, along with his parents, were in attendance at the hearing. Russia has launched a massive missile and drone attack on Ukraine, killing at least 22 people. The assault highlights gaps in Ukraine's air defenses, particularly the need for more U.S.-made Patriot interceptor missiles. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 155 points. The Nasdaq rose 288. The S&P advanced 54. Oil near $69 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
With things moving fast to resolve the situation in the Middle East, the headlines may change, but the fundamentals haven't. America's debt continues to climb, and uncertainty still hangs over the global economy. That's why investors continue turning to one asset that has stood the test of time: physical gold and silver. For generations, gold has been viewed as a safe haven asset during periods of geopolitical tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
Hi, this is Michael Miller. Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program, now at our new time, Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., right here on AM 700 KSEV The Voice.
This True Sand commentary is brought to you by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals. Call 281-441-4179.
From KSEV, here's political contributor Ben Strusand.
Most polling shows that Republicans are going to have a tough time winning majorities in both houses of Congress in November. Voters blame Trump for inflation and believe that many of the necessities they need to purchase have become unaffordable. 2 out of 3 voters don't believe that preventing Iran from building a nuclear weapon is worth the higher gas prices that they are paying. Voters never give a president credit for preventing bad things like a nuclear war from happening. President Trump should realize by now that the Islamic Republic will never agree to a deal that results in a Trump win. The mullahs read the polls and see the domestic political pressure to end the war. It's part of their strategy. We should stop chasing a bad deal. This does not mean that we should resume unlimited airstrikes, but rather targeted decapitation strikes against their leadership, as the Israelis used effectively. If Iranian leaders won't cut a deal, then let's get new ones. The real leverage we have against Iran is economic. We destroyed what Iran took decades to build. Their defense industrial base used to manufacture drones, missiles, and nuclear weapons. Inflation in Iran is running at 40%. The blockade collapsed the revenue stream used by the Revolutionary Guard Corps, their security services, and all the government infrastructure. If our blockade is allowed to continue and not stopped by Democrats and a few lame duck Republicans in Congress, we can eliminate the mullah's leverage over its people. We don't need regime change to pressure them into a better deal for us. Just perseverance. Intercepting what leaks out via Iran's shadow tanker fleet will speed the process. The best guess is this pressure will take 6 months to show results, right around the time of the elections. I'm Ben Strusand, and that's my view.
Ben Strusand, only on AM 700 KSEV.
Thank goodness our weather experts are providing us with hurricane tracking charts and reminding us to be prepared for big storms. But they overlook one very important thing, the damage and destruction from broken limbs and uprooted trees. Call Louis Flory at Ability Tree Experts today, my friend for nearly 40 years, at 281-441-4179, and let him explain how this problem can be minimized with professional pruning. You see, when the tree canopy is too thick and dense, the tree can be completely blown over and tree limbs broken, causing terrible damage to the tree and maybe your home. Where tree limbs break, sap will ooze, and that attracts harmful insects. So you need to call Louis Flory today at 281-441-4179 and have his experts come out and professionally prune your trees to withstand sudden storms that are so frequent this time of year. Visit their website at abilitytrees.com. That's 281-441-4179. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisX Radio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now your host,
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
ChrisX.
Good evening and welcome to the second hour of ChrisX Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us on our first official show in a country that is officially 250 years young. America turned 250 on Saturday. I hope you guys got to get out and celebrate and at least enjoy some fireworks and have some fun, maybe eat some good food. You know, I did. We went and ate some good food. I went and ate some decent stuff. But then I went back to this place. There's this place up in Cyprus called, I think it's the Frio. or the free. Anyway, it's like a Texas Hill Country restaurant bar / thing. Anyway, it's got an outdoor area for kids. It's a pretty good place. They have good burgers. I've met Mark Allen, my voice guy, the voice of the Chris X Files. I've met him out there a few times, and we went and ate, and my girlfriend and I went and ate. And I saw on the appetizer menu they had something called brisket mac and cheese. I'm like, man, I've been wanting to try this. And then so I got it. It wasn't great. The burgers are good. The brisket mac and cheese was basically they had wrapped up mac and cheese in some kind of, I don't know, dough or something. No, it wasn't dough. I guess some sort of whatever, and then fried it. And then it had these little faint traces of brisket in it. I'm like, man, I'm a Texan, okay? I think there should be a minimum requirement of brisket in order to say it's brisket. But then it came with some sauce, and it just wasn't. I was expecting mac and cheese. Like, there's that place used to be called Just Mac. I think it closed down a while back. But you could get brisket mac and cheese, where you got mac and cheese, and then they put brisket on it. I mean, that was pretty good stuff. That's what I was hoping for. Didn't get it. But their burgers are good, so that was cool. Anyway, welcome back to Chris X Radio. You've reached the second hour of the program. We'll be taking your phone calls, as always, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Be on your best behavior. Bring your A game, man. We're 200. This is our first official show of 250. And like I said, for those watching on either X or Rumble or YouTube or Facebook or whatever, I've got my USA shirt, and it's got flags here and flags here, and I'm pointing to them. Is there another flag over here? I've got my America on. I'm going to keep celebrating because I've got like 4 more of these, or I think 3 more. I'm going to celebrate the entire year. How about that? How about you catch me outside? How about that? You guys remember that? That chick, that weird 13-year-old that was a troubled kid, went off to make millions of dollars on the interwebs. I think she goes, is it Bad Baby? Whatever her real name was. She was on Dr. Phil and was a complete dirtbag kid who was whatever, and she's now a dirtbag adult making millions. Man, I wish I had the ability to just go on the internet and make millions. But I think you have to be a dirtbag. Anyway, all right. Well, welcome to the second hour of the program. Glad to have you here with us. President Trump highlighted the Americans' defiant spirit of 1776 in a speech celebrating the 250th birthday of America on Saturday evening. It was a late-night speech capping the semi-quincentennial anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. What's amazing is I'm one of the people on this planet, now there are a few of us, I imagine some of us probably listening, who got to celebrate the bicentennial and then now the semi-quincentennial. Semi-quincentennial. That's a little harder to say. But I remember the bicentennial quarters, the celebration quarters. I love those. I remember my dad took us downtown to a park. I can't remember what park it was, but there was a bunch of us and there was fireworks, and it was just, everybody was proud to be American then. But then the commies happened. Well, they didn't just happen. They've been around. They've just weaseled their way in. The commie Mom Donnies, the other dirtbags in these leftist-run areas. And they sort of take all the fun out of everything. They really do. Because they're communists. That's why they suck. That's how the communists roll. Anyway, President Trump gave a speech. He did it about, what was it, probably, I guess, an hour late, maybe 45 minutes later than he anticipated because of the weather. A lot of people came up to the National Mall, and were up there, and then they ushered him off at one point because the weather got pretty bad, but then they ended up clearing up. They delayed, once again, the festivities, and then they had this massive fireworks show. Probably the greatest fireworks show of all time. Okay, listen, believe me. You've seen fireworks, but you've never seen fireworks like these, okay? Okay. Probably the greatest of all time, worth 250 years. Which is probably exactly the way it was when George Washington was celebrating. Anyway, they still had the celebration. So that was good. Trump had a good speech, went about 40 minutes. Once again, he celebrated the defiant spirit of America. We have to continue that spirit in fighting back these communists, because if we don't, they will take over our country. And they have got the propaganda, all the media, Hollywood. They've got academia behind them, professional sports. This is why I don't watch sports. And by the way, why I haven't even though I think it's a great thing, what is the big USA versus Belgium tonight? The FIFA still going on? Somebody emailed me and I said FIFA must be over. I think the last game was played in Houston. But it's still going on. And then Trump talked to the FIFA people and got the guy who got the red card unfairly for the Americans that wasn't going to be allowed to play. I don't watch soccer, so I have no idea. But then again, I don't watch. The only sport I watched was the one that was celebrated at the White House a couple weeks ago. The UFC, MMA. I watched that. That's about it. I don't watch baseball, which I love, and I love the Houston Astros. Heard Jordan. Astros have the longest winning streak right now in Major League Baseball on July 4th. They've apparently won 9 July 4ths in a row. And then they won on Saturday. Jordan Alvarez hit his second home run to walk it off. So that guy's pretty good. He's starting as DH in the American League All-Star game. Well, I saw that. Once again, I get updates on Facebook or on Twitter. So that's where the only places I see him, because I haven't watched the games. Once again, he's an amazing ball player. That guy is a hidden fool. By the way, James Talafrico is on the defense after remarks surfaced where he was lavishing praise on Texas drag queens as some of the best in the country. How many drag queens has he seen to offer that sort of opinion? Does he love the drag queens as much as he loves the trans children? Anyway, apparently back in May of 2023, he was criticizing a bill in the state legislature banning sexually oriented performances on public property and in the presence of minors. Of course he would be against that. He wants trans people performing in front of minors because he loves him some trans children. I mean, he really loves the trans kids. I mean, you may not know how much he loves the trans kids, but James Talafrico loves him some trans children. I mean, he told us.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children who showed up yesterday at the state capitol to advocate for their humanity. They shouldn't have to, but it was an inspiration to watch.
He loves the trans children. He's got a little bit of a lift there, and he tries to cover it up pretty well, especially in this commercial. But he sounds he's definitely heterosexual. He's probably the most effeminate heterosexual you ever saw in your life. And you know what? He's a big-time Christian.
I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity.
But he always thinks of himself as a Christian who hates Christianity, but he loves trans kids and he loves Texas drag queens. Oh, man, they're the best in the nation. He voted president of the legislation urging the Texas House LGBTQ plus caucus after language explicitly referencing drag performers was stripped from an earlier version, arguing the revised bill would better protect the performances. In a statement to the Texas newsroom, I think Texas is obviously the best state in the nation, and I think we produce some of the best drag queens in the nation, and I didn't want any legislation to target them or hurt that industry, especially when they're performing in front of children. You want to know why we call him Talafrico? He's a freako that they're trying to parade as a moderate, and he's anything but. Now, the Republican nominee for U.S. Senate, Ken Paxton, hammered his praise of the drag queens in a statement to Fox News Digital. He said, "This is one more addition to the long list of out-of-touch extreme views James Talafrico," he may not have said Talafrico, but he said, "are out of step with the people of Texas." A spokeswoman, Madison Cersei, said, "By the way, how cool would that name be? My name's Cersei." Hey, Madison, didn't you star in Game of Thrones? Anyway, Talafrico's remarks also prompted sharp criticism from the Republican National Committee, which is working aggressively to keep the open seat, to fill it by another Republican. He said, quote, he needs to stay away from kids and stop forcing his creepy trans for all agenda on Texas. Zach Kraft from the RNC spokesman. Let me ask you this. Would you let James Talafrico babysit your kids? This dude is a teacher, was teaching children. That doesn't surprise me in this day and age. Dear Lord. Anyway, speaking of the Senate race and the main Senate race, explosive new sexual assault allegations are rocking Graham Nazi tattoo Plattner, saying that this woman said he raped her when she was blackout drunk. I don't know. Polly Markin thinks he's about to drop out. This sounds like another case where they got one person. The Democrats voted for this weirdo in the primary. Is that where the Democrat Party is now? We either have gay, trans, Talafrico, or you get Mr. Toxic Masculinity, everything they supposedly are against. Yeah, anyway, all right, let's take a call before we have to go to break. 281-558-KSEV if you want to join us, 281-558-5738. I may have received an email from this caller over the weekend. I think he goes by Cracker Croaker or maybe just Run On Robert, listening in Pearland. Robert, thanks for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisX Radio.
Hey, Chris, I think you'd like Rap and Roll. I don't know if they got them outside of Pearland, but they make a French fries with filet mignon and fusion sauce that's out of this world. You would love it.
Wait, where is this at?
It's in Pearland. Rap and Roll is the name of the restaurant, but they may have more than one.
Oh, okay. Man, I need to check that out. That sounds pretty good.
Oh, we just had it the other night. It was fantastic. So I like how you said how language concerning drag queens was stripped.
Yeah, well, you know, it's if the corset fits, then they'll wear it, I guess.
Right. And Nancy Pelosi got a chance to get her hair did, but I usually take my chances by getting my hair didn't. Anyhow, stylist. The word stylist is the plural of stylist. Styli?
I'm not sure.
Maybe not.
I don't. I'm still worried about you not getting your hair. Don't.
You can tell that I'm going anywhere near a barbershop. But June 26th, was way back when I was trying to make this call, we lost Alan Greenspan at 100 years old. Dude, hat is off. I'm officially changing your name to Alan Lifespan. His family was going to urge him to, try to go for one more year, but 101 is an odd number, Chris. And those superstitious econ guys they don't want an odd number.
Yeah, I think they do go for the even numbers. Yeah.
In the you wouldn't understand department, I drank a lot of beer on 4th of July, and so much cerveza it hurt my cabeza. One of those words rhyme.
Wait a minute. On the 4th of July, you drink a lot of beer? That's the only time you drink a lot of beer?
That's the only time I admit that I drink a lot of beer.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
What did the man say after his wife made him replace every single shutter on every single window in the house?
I don't know. What did you say?
He said, that ought to shut her up. Okay.
You're the king of dad jokes.
That is. In my case, granddad jokes. Last call I made, one of my jokes you called a skit. No, sir, Chris. A skit has a plot, a beginning, a middle, and end. Now, you know better than anyone that these crappy jokes never end. What are you talking about, Willis?
This is true. When you're bringing out your best from the 80s, I'm bringing out
your...
What you talking about, Willis?
I can't tell what you're thinking. You know why? That's right. Because I can't read your mind, but I can't even read my own mind. Chris, you ever seen this gas station on West Road near Jones Road named Easy Gas? It's right next to a Taco Bell.
On Jones Road?
Yes. It's actually on West Road near Jones Road.
Okay, no, I've never seen where the Taco Bell is. I've seen lots of gas stations, and I've seen the QT Mart. Does that you wouldn't be anywhere near that? You might have stolen a squeegee there for work once or twice.
Yeah, but the Taco Bell's not for real. It's just part of the joke. Chris, you like soccer?
Okay,
well, I have no idea how the game's played, why it takes so long, why all the weird names. I don't understand penalty kicks, rules, etc. But the hardest thing to grasp is the place called Hertz-Covina. Is it a team or a car rental service? Where the hell and what the hell is it? Help me. I'm melting.
Okay, well, listen, before you roll on or run on, I like to say, when you're dealing with Hertz-Covina, that is exactly what we suffer from actually having to listen to your skits that never begin and never end.
Everybody gets a case of Hertz-Covina. I get it.
No,
I get it. I'm patient one.
Yes, you are. All right, do you got something to wrap up this Covina?
Yes.
Mr. Hertz?
Kind of. I got a lot more. The soccer is amazing. You know that some of the tickets are $4,800. So it's like, hey, do you pronounce it soccer or sucker?
I'm going to have to go with the other one, the second one, because I can't afford $4,800 for tickets for anything.
There you go, and especially Rush. My son is going to go see Rush, and he didn't get to go either.
Oh, okay.
Young Robert. So, Chris, I got some advice. You're going to have to watch your sugar intake, bro. You got to stay away from those cake stores. You go in one, and you might not come out, especially if you live in Atascocita. They should change the name of that store to Nothing But Breaks. Nothing with breaks, I should say.
You're cracking on a poor person who got run over and killed inside a Nothing But Cakes. I can't believe you're cracking on that. How did did you get new writers that morbidity has no effect on their jokes?
They're hardened craftsmen.
I guess
you got to
so.
understand, they're just earning their pizza and rolls.
I doubt they even get either, but okay. All right. I'm gonna give you one more. Do you have time for one more, or that's it?
Yes. Do you know what is an acacia?
Is it related to a Covina after a Hertzga?
No, it's a tree. In case you were wondering.
Thank you for the call, Robert. Appreciate it. Oh man, that ended on a. Hold on. Hold on. I know I got it somewhere. I know I've got it. Let me look for it. Here we go. Here's what I think of your new writers. Oh, man. Run on Robert ran on way too long today. Man, some of the early stuff was good. I got to give your writers credit. Some of the stuff that you were holding in. The Alan Lifespan, that was pretty solid. That wasn't bad. But the Hertz-Covina, I don't know. I think all of our ears hurts after listening to that one. All right, let's take a short break. You're listening to ChrisX Radio. All right, if somebody wants to actually talk about something of substance other than just to use my program as their grandfather jokes, they're not even dad jokes, they're granddad jokes, he says. That's the most accurate thing I think he's ever said. Well, that and the fact that he's probably never had a haircut. I met him at one of the pizza parties, or two of the pizza parties. One or two. I can vouch for him. I don't think he's had a haircut. No, not lately. I don't think he's ever had one. I'm just thinking. But he got to enjoy some pizza, something that he supposedly pays his writers with, which explains why he goes through so many of them. All right, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. You're listening to ChrisX Radio. Hour number 2 rolls on.
At a convenient time. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Chris X here to tell you about Humble Amco Transmission and AC Specialists. People who know go to Amco. I personally trust Jay Streckfus and Humble Amco with all of my vehicle's needs. With complete car care, they'll take care of all of your auto needs as well. Always a free check engine light inspection, and tell them that Chris X sent you for a free engine scan. Call Jay today at 281-446-0862. That's 281-446-0862, or online at humbleamco.com.
KSEV and its advertisers want to thank you, the listeners, for all your continued support. Without you supporting our advertisers, there would not be a Voice of Texas. We stand behind our clients, and if you're looking to boost and grow your business, join the great team at KSEV and its loyal audience by calling a member of our sales staff at 281-588-4800. That's 281-588-4800. KSEV, loyal listeners and dependable advertisers are the Voice of Texas.
Start your mornings with the Chris Salcedo Show.
Chris Salcedo Show.
Hello, Chris Salcedo. How are you today?
Is this our hate-filled liberal from New York?
Not at all. This is the red-blooded American. You're lying propagandist.
And you say you're a chemical engineer? The dangers of socialism and communism. It produces mind-numbed idiots like you just heard.
You'll probably find 3,000 chemical engineers. They mix it in the bathtubs. They mix it in sheds, in the backyards, in 5-gallon buckets.
That's great, Chuck.
The Chris Salcedo Show, 7 to 9 a.m.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
The Voice of Texas, the voice of reason.
You know, it's so weird because I hear this music and this still sounds relatively new to me. And the Def Leppard, and it's not. It's not new at all, folks. It's 30 plus years old. My God. That is so weird. I guess you can say timeless music. Well, I guess that qualifies. All right, welcome back to Chris X Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Believe it or not, we're back. I went long for that. I went long for Run on Robert. Dear Lord. That was entertaining. Always good to run long with Run on Robert here when you're doing a radio program and things start happening and he's like, uh-oh. Is that the hotline ringing? Oh my God. Looks like the hotline's ringing. I guess we better get it. I think we know who it is. Welcome to Chris X Radio. Is this John Miller, the one and only?
Chris X, yes, it is John Miller. Good to be here on your little program. I had to call in for America's first radio program, officially 250 years ago this week. It was actually on Saturday, okay? So we're 250 years old as a country, and you needed to hear from the greatest spokesperson in the history of spokespeople.
Well, okay. Well, it's always good to hear from you. John, what is on your mind? Why do you always call after Run on Robert?
Chris X, listen, okay? I call after Run on Robert because the Lord knows we need some sense after all that nonsense, okay? Listen, we celebrated on Saturday night. It was probably the greatest fireworks show ever, probably the greatest speech by any president ever in the history of our country. I'm talking about one Donald J. Trump, okay? So just keep that in mind. He's the greatest president of our lifetime. You know how you know he's the greatest? He melts down snowflakes all day, every day, whether it's Truth Social or going on television. He just drives them all crazy. You know what's great in our country? Everything that they hate, okay? They hate everything good. They hate the flag. They hate whiteness. They hate everything. They hate black people who like the flag. They hate Asian people and Hispanic people that like the flag. They hate everybody who doesn't agree with them. They will even vote for a guy with a Nazi tattoo who I'm told, I don't know, I'm told he may be dropping out of the race. That's what I'm told. I don't know. People tell me things. I don't know. I just wanted to say, Chris X, congratulations on 250 years of broadcast excellence. Okay, I gotta go, Chris X. I don't have time for your show. Not this guy. Okay.
Wow. Why does he always make so much noise when he's hanging up? I don't understand that. Does he use the same phone that Robert in Pearland uses when he calls in? It's quite possible. Lord, who knows? We have no idea. All right, let's take another short break. Once again, we went way long in that first segment. Always good to hear from John Miller, international spokesman. I think he kind of settled it. I think he made it pretty clear what was happening. All right, you're listening to ChrisX Radio. If you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV. We'll keep rolling on. We've got, 2 more segments, and then we'll turn it over to the Craig Collins program coming up here at 6 p.m. His show airs every Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. ChrisX Radio rolls on.
To replace a roof, some people put it off until an emergency arises. This is Deb Tejada from Tejas Roofing, your Houston roofing company. I understand. People tell me it's way too complicated and too expensive.
Our customers tell us they wish they would have done it sooner.
I hear it all the time. Once the roof is replaced, they wonder why they waited so long because it's really not that complicated. We show up on time, we quote you a fair price, we replace most roofs in just one day. At Tejas Roofing, we take pride in making the process easy.
The cleanup is phenomenal. People always comment that it looks like we were never there. And now those customers sleep better at night knowing your new roof has been installed correctly.
When you know you need a new roof, don't put it off. Call me now, Deb Tejada at Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304. Estimates are free, 281-251-0304. When you need roofing repairs, a new roof or remodeling, call us at Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304.
You know, where we go in life matters, and what we do matters, and we know that taking the wrong road won't produce the best outcomes. Hi, I'm Kathy with Baker Mortgage, and we want you to take the right path when it comes to your mortgage. You know, we live in a world of information overload, but always consider the source. And these are not generally going to be from your big bank or a random offer that comes across your screen. Remember, you're always going to get a better deal on one that you go looking for than one that comes looking for you. You need to deal with somebody who gives a you-know-what, whether or not you're happy in the end. At Baker Mortgage, we do it right. We haven't been around for 68 years because we're lucky. We don't sell CDs, insurance, or anything else. We just provide a great mortgage experience. Isn't that what you're looking for? Call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
If you're looking for the best generator when it comes to powering your home when in need, then join Jim Cloud for the Checkapro A&A Gen Pro Show every Thursday at 1 p.m. here on AM 700 KSEV and AM 1540 KGBC, the voice of Texas.
Thank goodness our weather experts are providing us with hurricane tracking charts and reminding us to be prepared for big storms. But they overlook one very important thing, the damage and destruction from broken limbs and uprooted trees. Call Louis Flory at Ability Tree Experts today. My friend for nearly 40 years, at 281-441-4179, and let him explain how this problem can be minimized with professional pruning. You see, when the tree canopy is too thick and dense, the tree can be completely blown over and tree limbs broken, causing terrible damage to the tree and maybe your home. Where tree limbs break, sap will ooze, and that attracts harmful insects. So you need to call Louis Flory today at 281-441-4179 and have his experts come out and professionally prune your trees to withstand sudden storms that are so frequent this time of year. Visit their website at abilitytrees.com. That's 281-441-4179. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professional.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity and a low temperature of 79 degrees. Tomorrow will be very warm with a mix of clouds and sun and a chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. The high will reach 96 degrees. Tomorrow night will be mostly clear and humid with a low of 78 degrees. Looking ahead to Wednesday, anticipate partly sunny conditions with a high of 94 degrees. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
Chris.
Hey, man, I stumbled across our video on Facebook, which is amazing. So, because usually it's hard for me to find it because I'm dealing with the meta overlords. But thanks for the comment from Joan, and then my cousin. Hey, Cousin Willie. You guys kind of look like Cousin Willie. I remember meeting my cousin Willie. He lives up in Pennsylvania. So good. I'm glad you're able to tune in and check it out. Good to hear from you, cuz. I remember seeing him when I was probably 13, 14 years old, and haven't seen him since then. So sweet. So was it Cousin Willie has grown up to be Sweet William now. So he's not so much kid anymore. Well, we were kids back then. He was a little older than us. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I just randomly stumbled across those. I didn't know that people are still able to comment and actually can see my video, that people can actually watch, because it's so hard to get it on Meta. I know, like I said, we've gotten a little bit of traction on Rumble, and on, like I said, I haven't even gone to our YouTube page in a while. I have to go check it out. KSEV Radio is the name if you want to go check out the video of the program. We also do it over at Twitter. I'll see it on Twitter because that's where I tend to go and get updates and look at stuff like from Holly Hansen, who we had on last week, and that sort of stuff. All right, welcome back to ChrisX Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us as we are rolling through this 5 p.m. hour. We have this segment and then one more remaining, and then we're turning it over to the Craig Collins program, which comes on at 6 p.m. 281-558-KSEV if you want to get in, 281-558-5738. I think Run on Robert may have used up everyone's time in the first segment. I can't believe we went long for that. But you know what? We were asking about him last week. We hadn't heard from him in a while. So I guess he had a lot stored up. He went from that little napkin that he writes out all his material on to a full page of paper. He'll be back to his napkin by next week. It's usually got some barbecue sauce smeared on it. Speaking of a guy who looks like he'd have barbecue sauce smeared on something, explosive sexual assault allegations are rocking the Graham Nazi tattoo-having Plattner campaign ahead of this crucial deadline in the main Senate race. Now, rumors are swirling on social media about the Democrat candidate, Graham Nazi Tattoo Plattner, after several of his events were canceled, and a report from Politico has interviewed a woman who is now, he's already been scandal-plagued, but now all of a sudden there's a woman that is accusing him of sexual assault. He denies the allegations. Shocker. Maine resident Jenny Rassicott, 41 years old, told Politico that over the course of 3 interviews that Plattner forced her to have sex 5 years ago. Why did the Democrats elect a dude with a Nazi tattoo and so many skeletons in his closet that even Mr. Tallarico couldn't fit in Graham Plattner's closet? But anyway, Plattner has denied the story. Additionally, the report says that a man Rassicott dated afterward confirmed that she had told him about the incident, which also corroborated by emails between Rassicott and her therapist. She said, quote, "I remember him grabbing my pelvis and being really forceful of me." She told the outlet about the incident, which allegedly took place while Plattner was almost blackout drunk. "I remember the specific moment when I thought to myself, like, this is no longer my choice." Okay, first of all, why is she coming out now? In a statement to Politico, Plattner said these allegations are troubling, serious, and false. Why are they troublesome and serious if they're false? Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically untrue. The guy's a weirdo who claimed if a man broke into his home, he would rape him, not in a gay way, but because just to show his dominance. I think the dude would rape a frog given the opportunity, and not just a gay frog, Alex Jones, an actual frog. The Plattner campaign posted a video on X shortly after the Politico story published, where Plattner again called the allegations false and said he was going to reflect on the best path forward. So the guy's got so many issues with women, they're coming out accusing him of rape now, and he's had other various, accusations of abuse. Quote, so regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the moment I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Plattner says in the video, those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. Over the last few days, multiple Plattner events over the 4th of July holiday weekend, and of course today, were canceled without official explanation or comment from the campaign, reported by Bangor Daily News. Other than one event organizer says that an event in Gorman was canceled due to Plattner not feeling well. Yeah, I guess you kind of feel sick when another woman comes out with sexual misdeed allegations. Polymarket now thinks he's about to drop out of the race. They think he's just about done. I don't know. What do you think? I'm still amazed that Democrats are so low now that they will vote for a guy with a Nazi tattoo on his chest, a guy that has had a history of treating women poorly, a guy that is a walking poster boy for toxic masculinity, everything they claim to be against. And when they asked the Senate minority leader, why are you supporting Graham Plattner? His only response was, we have to defeat Susan Collins. I'm Schmuck Schumer, and we have to defeat that horrible monster, that right-wing wacko, Susan Collins, the most liberal voting Republican. They've sent us a message, folks. They now prefer Nazis and women abusers over very liberal voting Republicans. This is all about power and what they're going to. Plattner's probably going to drop out of the race, and then will be replaced by, what is it? Is it Susan Mills? Something Mills. I can't remember the former. Was she governor, mayor? I think it was governor. But they're going to probably just drop him and then replace him. Kind of like what they did with Joe Biden. No need for a primary. We're going to drag Joe Biden's dead carcass to the last minute and then dump him, turn it all over to Kamala Harris, and then try to push her across the finish line before anyone can find out anything about it. It worked. Why wouldn't they try that? Why would they consider doing something so similar that it's ridiculous? Because Democrats do not care about democracy, even though they claim that's what they're doing. They're not about democracy. They're about power. That is all they want. So badly, they're willing to support a dude with a Nazi tattoo on his chest until the moment he's no longer politically expedient. Which, how they didn't catch that one in the get-go, early on in the primary process, probably not a good idea to nominate the dude with the Nazi tattoo on his chest who's got a history of abusing women, abusing men, and talking about how he wants to rape a dude if he breaks into his home. He dreams of raping dudes that break into his home. I don't know what's gayer, him or James Talafrico. I'm sorry, James Talafrico is totally heterosexual. He's dated a woman from his campaign, I think twice, for sure, and he sounds so heterosexual, and he's just a big fan of the trans. He is such a fan of trans children, and then the drag queens. This is amazing that this is what we get from the Democrat Party now. They are so out of touch. And then to make things even better, the moment they get the nomination, they lie about their candidate over and over and over and spend hundreds of millions of dollars trying to convince the American electorate that they're not what they actually are. No, James Tallarico did not say anything about the 6 genders and the binary children, the trans children and a non-binary God. He never made any of these statements. And
did they teach you in Sunday school that Jesus Christ himself was a radical feminist?
Did they?
The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us.
Not for
God
Texas.
Is non-binary. You can't call yourself a Christian and reject the stranger seeking asylum at our southern border.
He's against this too.
Our trans community needs abortion care too.
And now
modern science obviously recognizes that there are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
No, it's not.
Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness.
Because that's what
our
Jesus
southern
was
border
about.
should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. We are trying to fundamentally change the politics in this state and in this country. Yep. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity.
Don't cry over your whiteness or your masculinity. But he's very much a churchgoer, just like you and I.
I always think of myself as a Christian who hates Christianity.
It only gets worse every time you hear the guy speak. They're literally running a campaign against everything that he has said every year for the last 5 years since he's been in the Texas House. He is running a diametrically opposed campaign now. Remember, he ran the vegan campaign because meat was an existential threat to our lives here on Earth, and he ran a vegan campaign, and now he's running a campaign powered by Texas barbecue. I bet him and his imaginary girlfriend go to eat barbecue probably every night. I saw pictures of him over the weekend on the old X, Twitter X, him wearing cowboy boots and a jacket and jeans and a cowboy hat. He's so Texan now. He is all Texan, folks. I'm no Beto O'Rourke. I'm like from what one person said, somebody called him a Pedo O'Rourke. Oh, man. That's bad when people are giving you those kind of nicknames. I'll just go with Talafrico. He's a bit of a freako. A major freako. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap up today's show, and then get you ready for the Craig Collins program, which comes on at 6 p.m. If you want to get in before we run out of time, I don't have much time. I don't have as much time as a Christian who hates Christianity. Wait, so he's in seminary school. Wait, what? What church does he attend? The the latter-day Satan church? 281-558 KSEV. We'll be right back.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price. He cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today or schedule online at garagedoordoctor.biz. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
Is it time to sell your house? Well, then hire a real estate team that will sell your house quickly and for top dollar. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. The team concept starts with experience, a drive and passion from Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, the founders. They built their team with specialists from every aspect of the real estate transaction, from the buyer's agent to the contract administrator to the marketing specialist. This team is working full-time to get your home sold and every detail handled professionally. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or on the web visit thematthewsteam.com. Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtor for life. Call now for a free home evaluation, 281-440-7900. That's 281-440-7900. Or see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. I chose them as my realtor, and you'll be happy if you do as well. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
Graybeard here, radio show host and solar broker. I host a show called SolarWise, heard right here on Saturday at 8 a.m. on the Voice of Texas, KSEV. And listen, this Saturday we're going to be talking about a brand new program. Imagine getting solar and 3 batteries with 60,000 watt hours of storage. Imagine getting all of that with no money out of your pocket, no debt in your name. It's not a lease. There's no loan, and it's all underwritten by a company owned by Shell Energy. You're going to want to know about this program. I can share some information with you right now if you text NEW on your smartphone to 84503. Key that 84503 number in, and then just text NEW. Or, better yet, join me this Saturday at 8 a.m. right here on KSEV, the Voice of Texas, AM 700. You're not going to want to miss this, especially if you've been solar curious. Text NEW to 84503.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. ChrisXradio.
Wow, you reached the final segment of our Manic Monday edition of our program. In fact, look at this. We got through almost a whole hour, well, 2 hours, a whole episode of our show, our edition. This is so hard for me to say. Here on our first official program in the year 250 in America, which is awesome. Oh, by the way, apparently there was an HFD fire truck crashed with a Metro rail. The death train is on the march again, just like the commies. So there you go. Anyway, this is the final segment of the program. If you want to get in, you really ought to hurry. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. So we were talking in the last segment a lot about Graham Plattner, the toxic masculinity poster boy that the Democrats nominated, that's probably about to drop out of the main Senate race against Susan Collins. And then James Talafrico, because there apparently new remarks have surfaced where he was lavishing praise on Texas drag queens as some of the best in the country. So that tells me, has he been watching drag queens from all over the nation? There's that. He loves the trans kids. Does anybody know how he feels about the San Francisco choir? Do you guys remember them? You remember what they were singing about?
As we celebrate Pride on the progress we've made over these past years, there's still work to be done.
It's a few days
So
late.
to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
Are we working?
You think we're sinful? You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that we'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked. Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it.
Have you noticed the trans explosion in schools among minors?
Make him wear pleated pants, we don't care. We'll convert your children. We'll make them tolerant and fair.
Yeah, I bet you James Talafrico is probably a huge fan of the San Francisco choir. I imagine it's probably right there with him. All right, let's get one more call here before we turn things over to the Craig Collins program coming up here at 6 p.m. Let's go to Jimmy X, who's been patiently holding. Jimmy, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to Chris Radio.
Okay, brother. Day 252, I guess we're at. Since we're 2 days past July 4th.
Well, No, hold on. We're only hold on. You said that wrong. We're only in day 2 in the 250th year. Maybe I heard it wrong, but I think this is day 2 in the year 250. I think you kind of said it weird.
Well, in sales, we would just say, "Hey, we're almost 300 years old, right?"
Exactly. I'm right there with you on that one.
But hey, man, earlier I heard you talking. I don't know if I exactly heard it right, but there was discussion around Mitch McConnell and him stepping down from his seat. Guys, we do not need that. The governor of Kentucky is a Marxist Democrat named Andy Beshear, and he would then be able to appoint McConnell's successor.
Well,
and you don't want another seat lost in the Senate, bro.
This isn't about Mitch McConnell stepping down. The guy's been in the hospital and most likely unconscious for the last 3 weeks. So I don't know if you heard that news today.
Yeah. But we need him to hang on, dude, as long as possible, because Andy Beshear is not going to nominate a Republican.
Well,
He's going to put a.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying, but what if the guy dies or if he's already dead? He's 80-plus years old, and he's in the hospital. So,
right. Well, he's not running for re-election. Thank God for that. So it is an open seat. But that's not till November, and we're in July. And things like, the SAVE Act, that is now wiped off. Any chance, even though it's a very limited chance right now, it's completely off the table if it's a D in that seat versus McConnell, who's holding an R seat and not being able to vote, but still at least there's an R in that seat. But
I don't know, Jimmy, I don't know if anyone's calling for him to step down. I don't think he's conscious, unfortunately, which is terrible. And we shall see. Maybe rumors of his demise are highly exaggerated. We'll hope and say I'm not a big fan. Caller El Marco called in earlier. Was thinking that was it El Marco? I don't remember. One of the callers earlier was thinking that Mitch McConnell was already a no against the Save America Act, but I don't know. I know that they had worked on it. They're trying to get it passed, but unless Mitch McConnell comes to in the hospital and somehow has some sort of a miraculous recovery, which the odds of that get slimmer and slimmer every minute, then. So I don't think anyone's calling for him to step down, but unfortunately, it means his time on this earth may be very limited. And his wife's in China.